What's going on, Mr. Rap Nerd? And I just got back from seeing Oz Perkins' latest film called Keeper. Now, the story follows a couple by the name of Malcolm and Liz who visit Malcolm's family's cabin in the woods, and as soon as they get there, Liz starts to notice a whole bunch of strange and weird things happening, and as you can imagine, secrets get unveiled and it leads to a very explosive ending. I enjoyed myself a lot watching this film. I will say that this returns to Osgood Perkins' house style. I think the monkey and Longlegs are a bit different than what he is known to do, even though Longlegs kind of follows the same type of style he usually goes for, but there's something about that one that is different. But if you've seen Black Coat's Daughter, Hansel and Gretel, there's a movie on Netflix called The Pretty Things. I forgot what the exact name of it is, but those movies are what this film has returned to. So how you felt about those movies will have an effect on what you feel about this one. It is a slow burn and it's only an hour and a half. The thing that makes the movie work the most to me is I think the lead actress's name is Tatiana. She plays She-Hulk. I think that she is really good in this movie. She has to wear everything on her shoulders, and I love how it's framed to just feel very uncomfortable, feel very unsettling. There's a lot of Dutch angles here that present that type of fear and just odd framing of shots. Like Liz will walk into a room and the frame will be from her like clavicle up, but you see the entire frame. But it's just a weird way to have somebody in a film that makes you go, what am I supposed to be looking in the background somewhere? So there's a lot of that, and it consists of a lot of bump in the night and day with some nice jump scares here and there to kind of point you in the direction as to what's going on. Even the way the movie opens is kind of a montage of things that make you wonder, like, okay, there's a pattern here, but I don't know why the pattern is happening. And I can definitely see why people aren't a fan of this one. This movie is getting a lot of mixed reviews because another thing is the first hour of the film, which is, you know, the first two acts, are really just based on atmosphere and how creepy things are. Now, for some people, that is going to be a huge letdown because you want to get answers, but you don't really get the answers until the last 30 minutes, and it's given to you in expositional dump, which can be heavy-handed, but I understand why it was done because I feel like you have to present that concept of what's happening to get to the twist of the ending. And even with the twist, I went online to see what people think about the movie, and there is a twist that I think people are missing. There, of course, is the one that's up front, but I think that there's a layer to that, and I'll get into that later when I start talking spoilers. But as I mentioned, the first hour and a half is just built on this like idea that this is a bunch of weird shit going on, and it just makes you question why the hell Liz would even want to go to this cabin with this guy, because it's clear that they have not been together that long, and she's even on the phone talking to a friend who echoes the same sentiment. So you're like, why are you going? But again, I think that that is part of the layering of what the twist is, because the relationship is very superficial. You don't believe that they're in love at all, and it aids what the friend is telling her while she's on this trip. And as mentioned, there's horror and jump scares sprinkled throughout, but man, when you get to the last 30 minutes, it just ramps everything up in the horror department and presents some very, very horrific imagery. And honestly, another movie that I can compare this to is Cobweb, that released in 2023. How that movie kind of presents this weird atmosphere and these things here and there, and you never really know what's going on until, again, the expositional dump, and we're just going haywire with the horror. And I don't mind that, because personally, if you can spend the whole movie building that type of atmosphere, and I'm saying atmosphere a lot because this film is very atmospheric. Like, that is the number one thing that I enjoyed most. It kept me on my toes the entire time. But if you can keep that interesting in, you know, the direction, the music, and the performances, I just want it paid off at the end. And for me, they do pay it off. And now I want to watch it again knowing what the twist is and the twist under the twist, because I feel like there are definitely things to point out that lead to that. But a lot of it is left up to interpretation, so that could be another detractor for some, because you're not really given strong answers as to like why certain things are happening. You just kind of have to put the puzzle pieces together, which I will get into in a sec. So from this point on, I'm going to talk spoilers, but all in all, I really enjoyed the movie and I can't wait to watch it again. Hopefully we can get a steelbook, as I am a huge physical media collector, and it just adds to the movies of Osgood Perkins that I do like. So go see it if you are interested, but it is weird and a slow burn. done. So we are now going into spoiler territory. You have been warned. If you do not want to know anything, leave, go see the movie, come back and join this discussion. But if you don't care, I'm about to get into it. So when you get to the hour mark, that's when Malcolm lays it on thick to Liz and just lets her know, like, you're gonna die tonight. Basically, me and my cousin have been around for 200 years because we stumbled across this woman and we ended up killing her and burying her here. And for whatever reason, this house and this side of this country where they are wants us to feed them other women, and in return it gives Malcolm and his cousin infinite youth. And they've just been doing this for 200 years. The reason why I think they show that is because the original woman that they killed back when they were kids looks just like Liz's character. The creatures that are there, and that's who they're feeding. I forgot to mention that. Instead of feeding on Liz, they actually prop her up as the mother of those creatures. So it in terms takes the youth away from Malcolm, and that allows Liz to turn the tables on Malcolm. I don't know where his cousin is at, but you clearly see that Malcolm has lost his youth and Liz is now what looks to be possessed by the creatures because she walks back into the frame and she has these black eyes that the rest of the creatures share. But the thing about this is, right, that's the twist that you can see coming a mile away, especially once they reveal what's going on and they show that the lady they killed looks like Liz. But what I think happened is the lady that they killed in the woods was actually a witch herself, because there's a little moment when they shoot her and they walk up to her to try and press the gun to her head to finish the job. Her eyes are blacked out and she actually turns and looks at him, and the kid, Malcolm and his cousin as kids, 200 years ago, pause, and then it just fast forward. So what I think ended up happening is the witch cursed them, and this thing of bringing back women to these grounds to feed them was actually part of the witch's curse, to find somebody of her lineage or somebody who is part of the bloodline to bring back to the grounds to rule over again. So I think that it was a big manipulation from a curse from the get-go. And it's explained that the way they get women here is they bring them into the house and they make this type of chocolate cake for them, and if they eat a piece of it, it knocks them out, and then they end up waking up to these creatures killing them. So Liz eats the whole cake and it has no effect on her. Now Malcolm thinks that there's no effect because she ate the whole thing when you're only supposed to eat a piece, but I think that she was immune to it because she's part of the bloodline, and this was all what the witch wanted from the jump. Is like, okay, y'all kill me, I'll live through y'all and also find lineage to live through this new person to continue the bloodline. And I think that these cousins specifically prey on women with low self-esteem and insecurities, just based on the moments that they show of Malcolm looking at Liz. And again, it even goes into why the friend kept telling her, like, why are you doing this? You don't even know this guy like that. Why are you that desperate? And she's kind of cooking her for just being able to lean into this relationship when it's not been long and she doesn't even know much about Malcolm, which in hand goes with the relationship just coming off weird and not genuine. And back to the witch thing about the control, the reason what I thought about that and it brought me to it is at the end of the movie, I thought about the trailer, and the trailer has two different parts in it. It shows a part cut from Liz's standpoint, and then it shows a part cut from Malcolm's standpoint. And I feel like each one made each person look like a victim, and I think that that was the case yet again, because the witch cursed his ass and he didn't know, and here he is paying back what he was due for killing the witch in the first place. So that's how I interpreted the movie, and I want to watch it again just to confirm what I'm thinking about it, but I'm pretty sure. And just I really enjoyed it because it's a masterclass in direction to really pull in the terror and atmosphere, as I mentioned before. The only issue, like I said, that I think I do have, and I think is a big one, is the fact that the expositional dump just happens the last 30 minutes. So everything is just crammed in there, and it happens very, very quickly. But it did pay off with some really wicked imagery and scares. So if you haven't seen Keeper, let me know in the comments what you thought about this movie. Where do you rank them amongst the 3 recent ones that Oz Perkins has dropped? To me, this is still my 3rd favorite of the three. It goes Long Legs, the Monkey, and then Keeper, but I enjoy all of them, and we'll add them all to my collection. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you already are subscribed, thank you, and until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.